Zyrean Hale had never planned to become a hero. At 72, with bad knees, a stiff back, and a stubborn heart that refused to quit, all he wanted was peace. The galaxy, however, had other plans. He lived on the dusty frontier moon of Oreo 9, where the law was thin, the criminals thick, and the slave markets, illegal everywhere else, operated in the shadows of the refinery towers. Zyrean had been a mechanic all his life, fixing shuttles and mining rigs. He knew the value of hard work, fairness, and freedom, and nothing boiled his blood more than watching someone lose theirs. Chapter 1, The Auction. The market was unusually crowded when Zyrean arrived. Rows of cages lined the central square, each containing beings captured from distant worlds. Frail insectoids, terrified reptilians, and a group of humanoid girls, 3 of them chained together by the wrists. They were Zarathi, a species known for their silver eyes, luminous skin, and quiet telepathic gifts. They were gentle people. Peaceful. They should never have been here. A fat trader in a blue vest shouted above the crowd. Next auction, 3 Zarathi females. Young, healthy, rare. The crowd cheered ugly cheers. Zyrean's jaw clenched. He felt that old flame inside him, the one he thought had burned out decades ago. Before he knew it, he was pushing the front. How much? He growled. The trader smirked. Expensive, old man. They're not for hobbyists. Zyrean lifted a chip card. I didn't ask what you thought I could afford. Gasps spread through the crowd. The trader blinked. 10,000 credits, he barked. Without hesitation, Zyrean said, Done. And for the first time in the market's history, it fell completely silent. Chapter 2, Freedom Papers. Back at his workshop, Zyrean brought the girls inside. They stood close together, trembling, their silver eyes glowing faintly. He offered them a gentle smile. I didn't buy you, he said quietly. I bought your freedom. From his coat, he pulled 3 datasheets stamped with the seal of the Frontier Protectorate. Your release forms. You're free now. The tallest girl stepped forward. Her voice was soft, like wind over water. You bought us to release us? Yes, ma'am, Zyrean said simply. Slavery's wrong. Always has been. The second girl stared at him, stunned. The third began to cry silently, silver tears dripping onto the floor. Their names were Lyra, the tall one, Nira, the quiet one, and Faye, the youngest. When Zyrean turned to leave, Lyra asked, What will you do with us now? Nothing, he chuckled. You can stay tonight, eat, rest, and leave whenever you choose. My home is yours for as long as you need. They watched him for a long moment, confused. No one had ever looked at them without wanting something in return. Chapter 3, The Girls Decide. Days turned into weeks, and to Zyrean's surprise, none of the girls left. They cleaned his workshop, helped organize tools, cooked meals. They giggled whenever he muttered at a stubborn engine or banged his thumb on a wrench. And slowly, very slowly, Zyrean began to feel something he hadn't felt in many, many years. Home. One evening, the 3 approached him together. Lyra spoke first. We discussed something. Nira added, a decision. Faye's silver eyes shined. We want to stay with you. Zyrean froze mid-oil wipe. Stay? Girls, you owe me nothing. I didn't buy you for... We know, Lyra said softly. That's why we wish to stay. Nira placed a hand over her heart. Zarathi bond with gentleness, with kindness, with those who protect our spirits. Faye blushed. And we feel safest with you. Zyrean didn't know what to say, until Lyra stepped closer. Our customs allow us to choose our partners, even multiple partners, if the bond is strong. She lowered her gaze. We would choose you. You want to marry me? He choked. The 3 nodded. The old man's heart skipped. He hadn't expected love. But life, it seemed, still had surprises for him. Chapter 4, The Trouble Arrives. Peace didn't last. The slavers Zyrean had embarrassed at the auction returned, furious and hungry for revenge. A hover truck rolled up to Zyrean's workshop in the dead of night. Armed men stormed inside. We want the Zarathi girls, the leader snarled. And you're coming with us too, old man. Zyrean stared them down. His knees were weak. His hands shook. But he never backed away from bullies. These girls are under protectorate law, he warned. You touch them, you face a death sentence. The slaver laughed. Protectorate doesn't force out here. Suddenly the room filled with a soft hum. Lyra, Nira, and Faye stepped out from behind Zyrean. Their eyes glowed with brilliant silver light. The air crackled. The leader sneered. Telepaths? You think mind tricks scare me? He never finished the sentence. Lyra raised a hand, and the entire group of slavers dropped to their knees, screaming in terror as psychic illusions wrapped around their minds. Visions of endless black void, of drowning in the dark. Neera silenced their weapons, twisting the metal with telekinetic force until they bent like rubber. Faye, gentler than her sisters, simply built a wave of calm that washed over the battlefield, draining the slavers of the will to fight. In under a minute, it was over. Zyrean stared, speechless. Remind me never to make you girls angry. Lyra smiled softly. You never will. Chapter 5. A Home Built on Choice. 2 months later, Zyrean's workshop became something new. Brighter, livelier, filled with cooking smells, laughter, flowers, and constant gentle music from the Zyrean. The girls had transformed everything. Lyra managed the shop books. Neera improved the machines with elegant alien engineering. Faye painted murals on the walls, stars, moons, and Zyrean's old face smiling. They didn't treat him like a rescuer, or a savior, or even a human on borrowed time. They treated him as something he had never imagined being at his age. A partner, a husband, a man worthy of love. Their wedding was small, just a few neighbors, a dusty courtyard, and a soft glowing ritual under the twin suns. Zyrean marriage customs were simple. The joining of hands, the sharing of breath, and the vow. Where your spirit walks, mine will follow. When the three spoke those words to him, Zyrean nearly cried. Girls, he whispered, trembling, I'm old. I don't have much time left. Lyra cupped his face. Then we will fill that time with joy. Neera kissed his cheek. Age does not frighten us. Faye hugged his waist. Your heart is young enough for all of us. Chapter 6. The Reckoning. The slaver cartel did not forget what happened, but neither did the protectorate. A military strike arrived one dawn, swift, brutal, decisive. The cartel was wiped out, their markets burned, and the moon placed under strict law. An officer approached Zyrean afterward. You bought those girls legally. You freed them legally. You're a good man, hell. Zyrean just shrugged. Just did what was right. The officer smirked. Funny thing, the Protectorate Council heard about your unconventional marriage. Zyrean braced. No crime in it, the officer said. In fact, they want to award you. Me? Award me? For what? For showing Frontier that freedom and compassion still matter. The officer handed him a medal. The girls are lucky to have you. Zyrean turned to see Lyra, Neera, and Faye watching with proud, glowing eyes. He smiled softly. I'm the lucky one. Chapter 7. A New Beginning. Years passed. Zyrean got older. His hair whitened. His steps slowed. But the Zyrean had long lifespans, powerful healing arts, and a fierce determination to keep him standing. Lyra massaged his joints. Neera monitored his medicine. Faye sang songs that eased his breathing. He often joked, at this rate, I'll outlive every man on this moon. Lyra laughed. That is our plan. He never expected to live to 80, or 85, or 90. With each year, he felt more alive than he ever had when he was young. And eventually, he realized something extraordinary. He had saved 3 lives, and they had saved his. Epilogue. The Legend of Zyrean. On the frontier worlds, stories grew quickly. They spoke of the old human who bought alien girls just to set them free, the man who humiliated a slaver cartel, the husband of 3 Zyrean brides, who lived longer than any human ever had. Children pointed at his workshop with awe. Travelers asked for blessings, advice, or stories. And Zyrean, old as the stars, sitting on his porch with 3 silver-eyed wives beside him, always gave the same answer when asked how he ended up with so much love. I just did the right thing, he said, and the universe rewarded me more than I deserved. He held their hands. And I wouldn't trade this life for anything. Zyrean had survived longer than any human doctor ever predicted. At 96, he still woke every morning to the soft hum of the Zyrean daughters, no wives, who loved him fiercely. Their home had grown over the years into a peaceful sanctuary, known across Oreo, 9 as the House of Silverlight, named after the glow that always poured from his windows. But even the strongest love could not halt the slow march of time. His steps grew uncertain. His eyesight dimmed. And some mornings, he forgot why he had walked into a room. His wives felt each change with quiet ache. Lyra, ever steady, took his arm gently whenever he rose. Nira programmed soft lights around the house to guide him through the night. Faye, still youthful in spirit, painted murals of their happiest memories across the walls, so he never lost sight of what they'd built. And every night, the three lay beside him, their warm bodies glowing softly in the dark. But Zyrean knew his time was nearly up. Chapter 1. The truth he could no longer hide. One winter night, the kind where Oreo 9's twin moons dipped low and painted silver ripples across the sky. Zyrean sat on the porch, wrapped in a thick blanket. Lyra joined him first. "You're thinking too heavily tonight," she whispered. He chuckled. "Can an old man not enjoy the night?" "You can," she said softly, "but your heart give away your thoughts." Zyrean sighed. "Lyra, I don't have much time left. Maybe months. Maybe less." Nira appeared behind them, her hands trembling as she set a warm drink on the table. "We know." Faye sat at his feet and rested her head on his knee, silver eyes shimmering. "We always knew." Zyrean swallowed. "I don't want to leave you girls alone." Lyra took his hand and placed it against her cheek. "You won't leave us. Zarathi do not lose those we love. We carry them here." She tapped her temple. "And here." She tapped her chest. Zyrean's eyes grew misty. Still, he murmured, "I wish I could give you more." "You have given us everything," Nira said, kneeling beside him. "Freedom, safety, a home, a future, and love." Faye added, voice trembling, "Love we never thought we would know." The old mechanic wiped his eyes. "I should be thanking you three," he whispered, "for choosing me." Lyra leaned close, her voice warm as sunrise. "We would choose you 1,000 times." Chapter 2. The Galactic Council summons him. One morning, a sleek Protectorate shuttle landed in front of his home. An officer stepped out, saluting sharply. "Master Hale," he said, "the Council requests your presence." Immediately, Lyra stiffened. "Why?" The officer produced a glowing data tablet. "You are to receive the Galactic Star of Humanity, the highest honor ever awarded to a civilian, for your role in dismantling the Oreo 9 slaver network and for setting a humanitarian precedent followed across 4 star systems." Zyrean blinked. "Me? I didn't do anything special." The officer smiled. "Sir, you changed the galaxy." The ceremony took place in the Silver Capitol Chambers. Representatives from dozens of species attended. When Zyrean stood, frail but proud, the hall erupted in applause. He spoke only one sentence in his acceptance. "I just did the right thing and was blessed beyond anything I ever deserved." When he returned home that evening, Faye sprinted into his arms. "Did they clap for you, Zyrean?" He laughed, loud enough to wake every moon from here to Kenna Prime. She hugged him tightly, and for a moment, he forgot his age. Chapter 3. The Final Breakdown. The end came without warning. Zyrean collapsed while repairing a simple power coil, something he had done 1,000 times without trouble. His hand shook violently. His breathing hitched. Lyra rushed to his side, catching before he hit the floor. "No! No, no, no!" she whispered, pressing her forehead to his. "Stay with me." Nira cried out, summoning medical drones. Faye clung to his hand, sobbing uncontrollably. The healer drones administered stabilizers, but their lights flashed red. Zyrean smiled weakly. "Girls, I'm sorry. Don't you dare say goodbye." Lyra choked. "I must," he whispered, voice fading. "You gave me more years than any doctor believed. You kept me alive with your love." Nira pressed her face into his shoulder. "We're not ready." Faye cried harder. "Don't leave us." Zyrean lifted a trembling hand and touched each of their faces. "My beautiful girls, listen to me." He inhaled slowly. "Love doesn't end. I'll be with you. Every sunrise, every quiet night, every time you laugh." His voice softened. "And when your time comes, I'll be waiting." Lyra sobbed openly now. Nira held his hand to her cheek. Faye whispered, "We love you so much." I love you too, he breathed. His eyes closed. His chest rose once more. Then stilled, peaceful, gentle, like a candle going out without pain. Zyrean, the man who brought 3 alien girls to freedom, the man who changed the frontier forever, was gone. Chapter 4, The Vow of the Zarathi Wives. The galaxy mourned. But none mourned like the 3 Zarathi who had loved him most. They wrapped his body in silver cloths and performed a sacred rite, one reserved only for the most cherished souls. Under the warmth of Oreo 9's twin sons, they spoke the Zarathi vow. Where your spirit walks, ours will follow. Villagers, travelers, traders, and even Protectorate soldiers stood silent as the ritual flame turned to soft, shimmering light that danced upward and faded into the sky. Lyra, Nira, and Faye held hands. We will continue your kindness, Lyra whispered. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves, Nira added. We will keep your love alive, Faye sobbed. And in that moment, every person watching believed. Zyrean had not died. He had simply gone ahead. Chapter 5, The Legacy of Zyrean. Years passed. The House of Silver Light became a sanctuary for refugees, orphans, and escaped slaves from across the stars. Lyra led the home with strength and wisdom. Nira developed advanced healing technologies based on Zyrean's old tools. Faye became a teacher who passed on the lessons the old human had taught her. Be kind, be brave, free those who cannot free themselves. Every child who grew up in the sanctuary knew Zyrean's name. Every visitor bowed in respect to his memory. And across the galaxy, one phrase became famous. The man who bought slaves only to set them free. But to 3 women on one quiet frontier moon, his legacy was far simpler. He was their husband, their protector, their first love, their forever. And when Lyra, Nira, and Faye finally grew old, centuries later, they passed peacefully in their sleep, hands intertwined. Their last whispered words were the same. Zyrean, we're home.